we are.
Hey.
So, do they need introduction? Because probably I do, but this is my channel, so people know me, so this is good. But hello,
Hello.
Courtney.
Yes.
Ross.
Hello, Giulio.
You want to say a couple words about you? For the
Sure, yeah.
Probably they know you better than they know me. But
My name is Courtney Nguyen. I work for the WTA. I'm senior writer for WTA Insider.
My name is Ros Satar. I run the BritWatch sports sites, and I just generally hang around with Giulio.
Oh, that's good to know.
It's a good gig if you can get it.
Well, if you can guess, we are just outside the Singapore indoor stadium, and we're getting close to a really cool final. Are we?
I think so. I mean, I hope so. I hope it's a good final. I mean, I think that, I definitely tap world number one Angelique Kerber to move through and to kind of consolidate her season. But, I mean, Dominika Cibulkova has been spending her entire week surprising us all. So who knows what we have in store other than a lot of very loud pomes.
Yeah, Singapore, mate. Yeah, I think it's going to be Kerber as well. But I think we're in for a really good fight.
Should we move closer to that one? Because we have some stats for us, bring by SAP. It's just like one of the... So, I think it's good to do it a bit on the move, because they can get a taste of what is it like to be here in Singapore. Final, let's get through. As we saw here, is for all the head-to-head.
5-4.
5-4.
First round match.
Oh yeah, I forgot the last one. It was 4-4 before coming here. You're right. 5-4 now. Kerber has won most of the latest.
Last 5. Yep. Lost the first 4, has won the last 5. So.
Oh, that's loud. Yeah. Okay, thank you for also fading down the music for me to come and look more stupid than I was. But no, as you said, it's 2 power battles that out there, both of them not giving up a single point. We've seen yesterday with Dominika, she was, I mean, like Sveta was just perfect out there, and then she turned it around. So definitely, you don't want to go in a big fight with her, but I think that's going to be the case.
Yeah, but if you're going to pick a player that's in this field that's going to be willing to go toe-to-toe against another player and really not give up and to fight, I mean, Angelique Kerber is in a lot of ways, she's a very pugilistic player. She's a battler to me. She is a boxer out on that court. And so that's why it's going to be interesting. It's going to be Domi, throwing haymakers, and Kerber in the back of the court, looking for opportunities, looking for, that forehand down the line, which has been fantastic all week. And so I mean, I think that, with Kerber, she can get herself into some trouble sometimes when she plays players where she has to get up to the net, and, Aga tried to pull her into the net a couple of times and it didn't really work, but I think it's a good play. I would love to see Cibulkova work that drop shot against Kerber, drive her a little crazy with that. I think that might be one of the key shots for today.
Yeah, and also, I think maybe we go back to the other side, which is a bit quieter. I always want to remind everyone that it's not working for you. Oh.
What's not working?
What's not working? The audio, the video, so that we can try and fix it. For everyone, really, you have 2 experts there. I'm not one of them, but they are. So we're really happy if you want to add some questions. They will be happy to reply, I'm sure. Okay, what is not working? So apparently something is not working.
Something's not working? What's the sound?
I don't know. Any comment on what's not working, please, so we can try and fix it? We get a heart.
Oh, well, that's nice. Well, let's carry on anyway.
Yeah, well, let's try and move on. Waiting for a feedback. We were saying the drop shot could be one of the keys for Cibulkova to kind of get Kerber out of a comfort zone. But what else can she? Well, I mean, like, what's in a game of Cibulkova that can make Kerber maybe go a little bit frustrated, other than her box being very loud?
I'll let you handle it.
Well, her stats have been interesting. Like her first serve percentage has been high. I think she's actually the highest of the lot, I believe. But no aces. So it's all about placement for her and how she sort of picks her position. The thing is, Kerber's such a great returner. I don't know that that's going to work for her. She's going to have to think on her feet. What impressed me is that she couldn't get her act together against Keys, but she managed to figure it all out against Kuznetsova. And I think that's what we'll see today, is that Kerber will probably frustrate her by just getting to everything and then some. And then eventually she'll start to figure it out. I think because Radwanska, for example, is not known to be particularly aggressive, I think that was why Kerber could actually sort of get a handle on it. But you know, so Kerber is an aggressive player right from the get-go, so she'll be prepared for that. But
yeah,
we'll see.
I mean, like for me, one of the key tactical matchups will be the Cibulkova inside-out forehand, which she used incredibly well against Sveta to really open up that court. The problem is here she's hitting into Kerber's forehand because she's a left-hander, and we've seen what happens when Angelique Kerber gets on the run on that forehand. It's like one of her best shots. So, you know, it's kind of strength playing right into strength. And so if Kerber has that forehand really firing today, where she can defend on that side, I think that's going to be something that really frustrates Domi. It's going to be a matchup, you know, that she didn't necessarily see against Sveta. With Sveta, you were going to the Sveta backhand, and she was, you know, she hit that incredible sliding, you know, but that's a difficult shot to make. And you're like, okay, if you can hit that 10 times, I'll give you the win. But 9 times out of 10, I'm going to win that. I think that percentage skews a little bit more towards Kerber with that forehand wide. So that's a big one. Cibulkova at the net. But I just think that the biggest one for her, she has to make Kerber uncomfortable. And one thing that, again, Aga tried to do it, and she didn't finish well, but using the drop shot to get Kerber up to the net, because she doesn't want to do it. Yep. She will go up to the service line and back away. Like, she will return drop shots and then run back to the baseline. If you can get her up there and force her to hit volleys, I think that's the weakest part of Angie's game, and that's a big opportunity for Domi because she has a great drop shot.
Yeah, I also would add that compared to Aga, Domi has got more power.
Yes.
So if she gets a shorter ball, she can push Angie further from the baseline and then use the drop shot. So that could be a key. But also, let's not forget that Kerber being a lefty is also good for a serve, especially on the advantage side. She's gonna serve slice on Dominica's backhand. And we can see that if she gets a bit tight, that backhand can break down a little bit.
Yeah, break down and also land short, and then it's just a 1-2 punch for Kerber to put away with the forehand. So, you know, again, it's a tough matchup, I think, for Cibulkova. The head-to-head definitely shows that, having lost the last 5. This is the best version of Angie Kerber that she will face. Yeah. Because in the first round, I mean, we all talked to Angie a little bit, like, how much are you playing better now than you were in the first round? And she's like, duh. You know, effectively, right? I mean, you know, she wasn't moving as well in the first round. She's a little nervous, and so but, you know, she gets taken to 3 sets by Domi, drops 6 games to Halep, drops 6 games to Keys, drops 3 games to Radwanska. She's just getting better and better.
I mean, I like the fact that, you know, she admitted, you know, well, if you watch me, you know that it takes me, and it's like, yeah, there was lots of sage nodding heads, like, Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's just the confidence. I mean, I did the stats yesterday. We talked a little bit about how to sort of do a kind of rundown of, you know, for one person doing it rather than you have 2 people. And I sort of did a rundown of the stats with a little advantage. And unfortunately, everything just came out as advantage Kerber because she's just so consistent. And we talked about this the other day. She's got this, like, swagger to herself that I've never seen before. I've been watching her for, like, the last 2 or 3 years, and I've never seen this kind of, it's just something.
Yeah, the personality evolution of Angelique Kerber, and just in terms of her self-belief, has been one of the coolest things for me personally to be a part of over the course of her kind of resurgence, you know, 4 years ago when she made the US Open semifinal, and then, you know, I still remember interviewing her in Istanbul the first year that she qualified for the finals. No one requested to talk to her during all access hours, so WTA came by me and like, hey, can you talk to Kerber? So I sat on the couch, talked to Angie. She was very quiet, very shy, as she still is. And I asked her, you know, you're one of the top 8 players in the world. Like, that's pretty cool. Do you feel that way? And she's like, no. Like, I don't know how I ended up here. This is crazy. You know, so, you know, that year I remember we were standing at the hotel bar one night, and the players were staying at the same hotel. And I'm having drinks with some friends, and I look down over the balcony, and I see some woman, like, walking out there laughing and giggling and then jumping into the pool. That was Angie Kerber. She had, like, gone, I think, 1-2 maybe, or possibly 0-3, but her season was over, and that was her reaction to celebrate. She's like, oh, my God, thank God this awesome season's over. I'm going to jump into the pool. Now, fast forward,
Yeah.
jumps into the Yarra River to start the year, and now she has this swagger where she wears the number one very well and much better and much faster than I thought she was going to. I thought it was going to take a little bit more time for her to get used to it. I don't know. She seems pretty okay.
I mean, when she got pipped at Cincy, because
Yeah.
the nerves when she went out for that were huge. And I'm still, I thought,
It's gonna be tough.
It's gonna be the beginning of the year.
And same in China, at Wuhan Open. Obviously, she played that great match against Petra. That's not a bad loss. But losing to Svitolina the way that she did in China, it just was very confusing. And you're like, oh, maybe she's not going to wear this number one well. She comes in here and plays like a number one at the biggest tournaments. It's what number ones do, right?
Yeah.
They play
absolutely.
well when it matters, and maybe for those tournaments, it didn't really matter as much to her.
Yeah, I also think that she's also trying to make little adjustments to her game. You can see the second serve is being more aggressive. She's done a few more double faults during the Asian swing, but I think it's because it was a process of getting it more aggressive. Yeah, so it's a process. It's always like a good catchphrase to use.
WTA, it's a process.
And also, I think, as we said yesterday with Angie, there are some steps that for her were really important, like winning Stuttgart this year. You could see the way she came stronger out of that. The clay swing wasn't good for her, but I think it's more because of clay being a problem than mentally being a problem.
Yeah.
But winning Stuttgart, she also self-said, winning back-to-back. I'd never done it before.
Yeah.
So that was first big step. Second, I did it home with all of the press being there, being like, do you think now you're going to make another slam? Do you think you're going to be world number one? And she wins the tournament. So I think, you can see how much she's improved also dealing with these things, and she knows it. And that's why I think that winning the US Open final when she was the favorite was the kind of biggest moment.
The crowning moment.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, I think this tournament is a cherry on top for her. I think that, whatever happens today, whether she wins or whether Dominica wins, I don't think that it tarnishes anything if she loses to Dominica today. I mean, we've seen what Domi can do. We've seen, just how even this field of 8 is. Every single player left with a win. And every single player got a win over somebody who, seemed to be dominant. Keys got her win against Domi, blew her off the court. Muguruza comes back against Sveta. Everybody got a win. So, everybody, and that was the my read of it when we started the tournament, was that it's a very deep field. So if she doesn't win the tournament, she doesn't win the tournament. I don't really think that it matters because she's put away and blasted and ghost busted the demons of last year here, and that is massive. And, and she gets a huge point cushion as she goes into Australia, where she has to defend the Australian Open. So she actually might be safe for the number one because remember, after the Aussie, she didn't do much.
No, she didn't.
So until Stuttgart. So she might be safe for the first 3 or 4 months of the season.
I gotta say credits to Diego, but if she wins today, she's sure of being world number one, even if Serena wins Auckland and Aussie
Melbourne.
Open and she bombs out early.
Oh, wow. So, there you go. I defer to the mathletes. That's not my bag. So, as most people know, numbers and I do not get along, ever.
Before we close it, I think the preview is pretty good, done.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Gotta say, then my question is, what was your highlight of the week here in Singapore?
Ooh, highlight. I think it's got to be Sveta. I think just everything that Sveta did, I think it was incredible, just both on and off the court. The tennis that she played was phenomenal, just the grit and the fight given the circumstances of having to win Kremlin Cup, hopping on a private jet, getting her butt over here and having to play in 48 hours. That was pretty remarkable, and to play the defending champion of all things. And then just off court, she's tennis Yoda. She drops knowledge bombs. She has incredible perspective, a great perspective, something that you want people to hear, and I think that her capping off her tournament, kind of effectively quoting Roger Federer and saying, Roger once said, why do these great champions, or why do, you guys sit there and ask me why I keep playing? Is it okay if I just like playing tennis? And I think that that's the same thing that Sveta is feeling right now. She's enjoying her tennis. She's enjoying being on the tour. She's enjoying being this well-respected elder statesman. And it's so easy to remember her as that brace-faced 19-year-old winning the U.S. Open, completely stunned. And now she's a go-to sage on tour, which worries me sometimes about, the state of the tour if Sveta's the sage. But she's a wise woman, and I'm so happy that her season was able to end on a positive note.
Ros?
I mean, she was the narrative of the tournament for sure. But I just think tennis really won. I mean, everybody will talk about the lack of stars, but when all's said and done, and I can say this by virtue of being probably older than two of you put together, people don't last forever. As much as we want them to stay forever, Serena's not going to be around forever. Maria, if she comes back, is not going to be around forever. Hell, even Sveta is not going to be around forever. And we need to bring these new people up. I'm desperate to see people build on this now. I've been desperate to see Radwanska win a slam since I could tie my shoelaces, it feels like, even though she's like fairly young. I'm desperate to see Halep come forward. And I think this actually is probably more of a platform than they actually realise. And I'm actually excited, not for the demise, as people say it, of women's tennis.
It's not binary. It's not a binary, if you say this, then it means that you want them out. It's just that the fact of the matter is the tide is changing, and there's a new guard that necessarily has to step up. And I'm reminded, Rohit Brijnath of the Straits Times wrote a great article before the tournament previewing it and talking about the lack of Serena as she had withdrawn. And the last line of his article was effectively that, we can forget that Serena was supposed to be here if these women remind us that they're the reason that we're here. And I think that the matches were phenomenal all week.
Yeah, I can't think of a single bad match during this
There
week.
were even watching a Madison Keys dominate Cibulkova, to watch that type of hitting, beautiful. Yesterday, 3 games, yes, Radwanska could only take off of Kerber, but she played so good.
That's the thing, there wasn't one where there was a letdown from any of the players. Everybody gave their absolute best. I think in that, probably the best match was Cibulkova, sorry, I got a Slovak friend saying watch out, it's Cibulkova, not Cibulkova, so it's Cibulkova and Halep.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a straight set match.
Halep on one leg fought like a lion, and I think it just
someone
shows.
Who people don't think always fights like a lion, and I think that means a lot as well.
Yes, indeed. I think on that note, because I'm also tired, holding this one, so
this is why I've got
discussing a lion effort. Yeah.
One off a tennis moment of the week, and then we can close it off.
All right, go ahead.
One off tennis.
One off tennis moment of the week. Oh my God. I have no idea. Come back to me.
Let's see. Off tennis moment.
It's not that easy.
Aside from the fact that I've been eating aloo gobi at 3 a.m. every day, which I've actually been enjoying. It's very good. I mean, the hotel's aloo gobi was phenomenal, if not overpriced. But no, I think it's just been being in the press room. It's been a good press room. You guys have been great. It's been lovely just to catch up after the full year. We don't see each other all the time, so it's been a really nice, lovely crew with Giulio and Ros and Jimmy and Diego as well. David Kane was here. It was a nice, fun, group of people to be around who are incredibly knowledgeable about tennis, who love women's tennis, which is also nice as well. So that's been fun for me.
No, I agree actually. Sometimes when you go to a press room, it
can be lonely.
It can be, yeah. It can be. But I think there's something about having to fly halfway around the world to actually feel like you're enjoying what you do, and I think that's the thing. If you've got a passion for what you do, then how can you not enjoy it? And you couldn't do this if you weren't a fan.
I think the best night was actually when we finished at 3 a.m. because it united all of us with the McDonald's, and no, it was fantastic. And yeah, so I second all of you and say in Singapore you hit really well, and that coming from an Italian is a big compliment. So on that note, I think we can say thank you everyone who watched, and enjoy the final as much as we will.